She was expecting applause, a triumphant return to the public eye. But the crowd's response was a deafening wall of boos that swallowed her opening words. Can you picture the shock of stepping onto a stage, anticipating cheers, only to be met with a tidal wave of disapproval? That's precisely what unfolded when Meghan Markle took the stage at a Netflix-sponsored event in London on July 3, 2025. The moment was meticulously crafted for headline redemption, a dazzling comeback bathed in flashbulbs and wrapped in a fresh PR narrative. Instead, gasps and jeers reverberated through the venue, drowning out her attempt to speak before she could even find her footing. The reaction wasn't a mixed bag of cheers and jeers. It was overwhelmingly hostile, leaving even her most ardent supporters frozen in stunned silence, grappling with how to process the scene. Public figures must brace themselves not just for adoration, but for rejection amplified in stereo. Before stepping into the spotlight, it's critical to prepare for every possible crowd mood: applause, indifference, or outright hostility, just in case the atmosphere turns stormy. Attendees reported that the hostility escalated rapidly, turning a planned PR recovery into a full-blown reputation crisis. An unfiltered audio clip began circulating minutes after the debacle, allegedly capturing Meghan snapping off mic with a sharp, "You should be ashamed," whether this was a scripted outburst or an unscripted emotional breakdown. The recording spread like wildfire across social media platforms within the hour. Though the microphone may have been off, the cameras were rolling, and the footage cemented the moment as a public relations disaster. Witnesses in the crowd described her frustration boiling over almost instantly, transforming a carefully orchestrated event into a grenade that detonated her carefully curated image. This single, careless flare-up has the power to overshadow months of strategic press efforts, proving that in tense moments, controlling your emotions is paramount, or they'll hijack the message shaping your brand. What happens when a brand bet backfires and burns through its own foundation? Meghan's Netflix appearance was more than a fleeting cameo. It was reportedly the soft launch of a new tell-all series concept titled Meghan Unfiltered. Touted as her most real project yet, the event aimed to tease raw vulnerability and reclaim her narrative. Instead, it spotlighted a real-time unraveling, exposing the fragility beneath the glossy exterior. Authenticity can be a powerful tool, but only when wielded with emotional strategy and precision. By capturing what appeared to be a breakdown rather than a breakout, Netflix now faces a costly dilemma: double down on the project and risk further ridicule, or quietly retreat from the venture. Neither option promises a cheap resolution, as the fallout threatens to erode both financial investment and corporate credibility. When even traditionally neutral voices weigh in, it's a clear warning sign. Eloise Grant, a respected royal commentator, labeled the event PR malpractice at the highest level in a scathing Telegraph piece, a sentiment echoed by other royal analysts who decried the move as tone-deaf and misaligned with the public's current mood. When experts across the spectrum agree, it's a signal to heed the critique. Rather than reshaping her narrative, Meghan may have inadvertently poured jet fuel on long-standing resentment. Her attempt to reclaim her story instead reignited the reasons critics lost trust in her, turning a potential pivot into a public relations pitfall. To earn grace from an audience, gauging their emotional temperature first is essential. Empathy misjudged quickly morphs into backlash earned. Why do some crowds turn hostile in mere seconds? Behavioral scientists offer insight into this phenomenon, suggesting it's less about the message itself and more about momentum. Cass Sunstein, a Harvard professor and author on social behavior, notes, disapproval spreads in groups like wildfire when left unchallenged by strong leaders. In Meghan's case, one boo ignited a chain reaction, swelling into 20, then a tidal wave of jeers. With no one stepping forward to redirect the crowd's energy, that hesitation solidified a narrative. Backlash was not only acceptable but socially endorsed, and Meghan was its prime target. Owning the room's emotional temperature early is crucial. Fail to set the tone, and you risk being consumed by the chaos. Imagine storm clouds gathering overhead, and instead of confronting them, the speaker vanishes. That's what attendees described at the Netflix event. Meghan reportedly cut the appearance short, exiting without delivering a final message or offering clarity. No closure, no context, just a silent departure that felt like surrender. Had she stayed, acknowledged the crowd's reaction, and addressed it with humility, the evening's tone might have been reframed. A strong, composed exit could have shifted the narrative mid-flight. Instead, her abrupt disappearance became the story, leaving a void filled by speculation and criticism. Never waste a walk-off moment. Ending with strength can turn turbulence into a turning point. Can a single moment fracture an entire fanbase? Absolutely, and it happened in real time. Within hours, Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit transformed into digital battlegrounds. Half the online community defended her, arguing, "She's just being real," while the other half attacked, claiming, "She can't handle criticism." Supporters and skeptics clashed fiercely, but few minds were changed. The event didn't just damage Meghan's image, it widened the emotional chasm between her communities. Some influencers who had previously championed her went silent, while others swiftly turned critical, amplifying the divide. Every public reaction fuels a digital mirror. Before responding, it's worth asking, what am I truly reflecting to my audience? For Netflix, this drama isn't merely a reputational stain. It's a numbers game with high stakes. Sources close to the platform suggest internal confidence in Meghan's content was already wavering, with viewer metrics for past releases showing a downward trend. This outburst may have tipped the scales decisively. One executive reportedly grumbled, "Why invest if the payoff is more drama than subscribers?" If Meghan was pitching Meghan Unfiltered as a reality-style series, this appearance might have cost her the green light. Networks hesitate to gamble when audiences disconnect, and a single bad headline can undermine even the strongest numbers. Guarding both wisely is non-negotiable. Is being real always the right move? Not necessarily. Today's audiences crave authenticity, but only on their terms. When Meghan displayed raw emotion on stage, it wasn't received as vulnerability. It was perceived as volatility, a misstep that undermined her intent. There's a razor-thin line between emotional honesty and instability, and celebrities navigate it every time they step into the public eye. Meghan's error wasn't just losing her composure. It was forgetting that authenticity requires guardrails to resonate. You can't thrive in modern media without an emotional strategy. Be real, but be ready with a plan. Sarah Thorne, a top-tier Hollywood PR strategist, delivered a blunt assessment. No studio wants unpredictable on-camera talent right now. Meghan's onstage moment may not mark the end of her career, but it's perilously close to triggering a hiring freeze. In an industry where budgets are tightening, a single bad appearance can close more doors than it opens. Producers rarely announce withdrawals, they simply stop calling. Stability builds opportunity. Inconsistency cancels it before the next pitch can even be made. For Meghan, this event may have shifted the narrative from potential comeback to a cautionary tale, leaving Netflix and her team to navigate the wreckage of a brand bet gone awry. Loving this insider breakdown of what really goes down behind the cameras? Then hit subscribe, because in part 2, we dive into ghosted allies, frozen contracts, and Meghan's eerily silent team. You don't want to miss what's coming next.